Good evening, everybody. It's still, I guess, nighttime here in Arizona. It's, I guess, a very early morning out in the East Coast, and probably daytime out there in, gosh, far, far continents that are absolutely superb friends of mine. So, good morning slash afternoon to all of you the next day. Um, I'm going to start off with there's a couple verses from Colossians, and it's in chapter 1, verse 15 through 17, that it's pretty grasping, and it's from my it's it's the New Living Translation. So for those who read the normal NIV or the King James and such. This one's just always been my study Bible because it's just broken down into simple terms. So it won't be word for many Bibles, but this one's a very simple one to translate into just studying. Anyway, it's Colossians 1:15 through 17. And Christ is supreme. Christ is the visible image of the invisible God. He existed before God made anything at all and is supreme over all creation. Christ is the one through whom God created everything in heaven and earth. He made the things we can see and the things that we can't see, kings, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities. Everything, everything has been created through him and for him. Now, this is the one that's grabbing. He existed before everything else began, and he holds all creation together, everything. He holds us all together. So he's always had these plans, and he knows complications that will be endured. However, he does have so much love for us, and he knows what doctors are out there that are going to have these amazing plans on how to set forth cures, answers, as long as we step forth with that faith and go find them and talk to Jesus and ask him, where do I go? How do I find an answer? And number one, he is the answer. Number two, and he will guide you. He even guided me before I even knew him, and I found the best neurologist I personally say in the world. And that's my doctor, Dr. Druskowski at Mayo-Hospital here in Arizona. And that's after years and years of struggling with many neurologists. I can't number how many, even at really well known facilities, hospitals, really well known actually, that just, how do I even put it? Just didn't do the right testing, didn't have the right time, and just didn't put their effort into it, took in the money, yet didn't realize that my seizures did change because they didn't put their all in all. And you got to be careful, and you have to have more knowledge of what is going on with yourself so that they don't do any kind of skeptical evaluations, so that you know that, you know what, there might be more to this matter. And fortunately, well, I guess I should say in a fortunate manner, mine just hit. And so therefore I had to go find the answers. And unfortunately, I really never cared much about my epilepsy. Not that I didn't care, it just didn't affect me much. So therefore I never studied it much and I didn't care much about it. I know it was controlled for a few years there. And so therefore I didn't realize, whoa, the change, when it started to change. I didn't get too in deep into it because I figured it'd always get better. They don't always get better. And you really have to question your doctor because he didn't understand. He didn't look forward into it, realizing that I'm just a different case, that my seizures did change. They went from atypical absence seizures to complex partial to later on grand mals and so on and so forth. That isn't usual, it's not common, yet at the same time, um, it no seizures are. So just make sure that you know yourself better than somewhat even the doctor does. They will have great knowledge. They really do, as long as you find that right one. And thank God I have. And he does absolute wonders with how he takes care of me and how everyone actually at the hospital even put forth all their effort. My EEG tech is just miraculous, Luann, and my neurosurgeon, Dr. Zimmerman, he is just a miracle worker himself. And I can go down a list. Even his assistant, Terry, who answers the phone, she just works wonders. And both of his nurses just do amazing work that I can't even begin to explain. That's Pat and Debbie out there in Mayo. And you need to have that support through that whole system. People, if your nurses and doctors aren't communicating with you the same day that you're calling them, you need to find someone different. And I always recommend that you're seeing more. There are great neurologists that have private practices, but I do recommend some great clinics out there. Mayo being my first and number one foremost. There's Cleveland, which is another great one out there. And there are several others that are out there that are just absolutely superb. But sometimes you just really have to be careful just so that it's something that's really being studied and double checked. Um, there is a testimony that has been placed on my website on Facebook, and that's from an amazing soul who's gone through a lot. And you can find that again at my website on Facebook, and I'll repost it again on my site on Twitter. Um, both sites here, starting with the site it's posted on. He has an amazing testimony. I went ahead, he emailed to me, and I asked if I could post it, and he said yes. So go to my website at www.causes.com/epilepsycures. And you can find it in two sections, the bottom section, or you can find it at the top section. I posted in both places where you can read his testimony and you can find out who it is and just be amazed at some of the amazing works that are out there. And there are tough times too, and I'm reaching out to some of them out there that have gone through the heartaches, and I've been talking with someone who has gone through heartache and actually lost someone very dear, obviously, and trying to get the testimony out of this person too, because you know no one's ever alone, and we don't ever know the reasonings behind that, but it's tough, and it's definitely something we have to reach out to, and that's why we always have to make sure we have the right doctors and the right care, and we're taking our medications right, and we go forth with every type of device or surgery or whatnot that we can have done. And secondly, go ahead and just double check on my Twitter site, www.twitter.com/epilepsycures, and just talk to me, message me and let me know, any of you who have any questions, concerns about anybody in your family, friends, or yourself, so I can reach back out to you. Today was a seizure-free day for me, so I feel very blessed. But I do have a throbbing migraine, so any migraine questions, I am also a specialist at that. God bless each and every one of you, and come to me in any way, shape, or form that you're in, and I will be glad to answer your questions. And I pray that you have a wonderful day tomorrow and a wonderful night tonight. God bless.